Welcome back to my channel. You just landed on part 2 of my how to prepare for the upcoming golf season whilst stuck in lockdown series. This is the second episode. Today we're going to be talking about the mental aspect of the game, how you can just think a little bit smarter out there, so as soon as courses do reopen, you'll be able to save yourself a few shots. So without delay, let's get into it. Tip number 2 in this series, coming up. There are some things in golf that are just quite simply outside of our control. You could split the middle of the fairway, walk up there and find that your ball is finished in a nice little divot for you, or you hit a great struck iron shot out of deep heavy rough, ball sailing straight for the pin, and all of a sudden an unexpected gust of wind gets up, knocks your ball down, the ball ends up getting plugged in a bunker short of the green. Now, up until that point in both circumstances there, you've taken everything into account that you could have at the time, you've gone through your pre-shot routine, you fully committed to the shot you want to hit. After that, sometimes that's just golf, and some things are outside our control. Now, there's no point in spending any unnecessary amount of time, effort or energy getting too concerned or worked up with those kind of things happening. You'd be much better off putting your focus into things that you actually can't control. So in terms of the mental aspect of the game, things like our self-confidence, our inner self-talk, our course management skills, how we see ourselves as golfers out in the course. And with that, brings me on to the story I'm going to be discussing in today's video. A couple of years ago, I was quite fortunate. I got to meet with a guy called Dr. Bob Rotella, world-renowned sports psychologist. I'm sure a lot of you already be familiar with him. But now I'm paraphrasing here, but this is the gist of how the story goes. It's in one of his books, and he talks about Jack Nicklaus. He's going to talk to a bunch of college students, and at one point in the speech, Jack turns and says that he's never missed a putt inside 3 foot, and he's never 3-putted on the final hole of a tournament. Now, and with that, a hand goes up in the audience and says, well, Jack, you've actually done both those things. Jack turns around to the guy and he says, sir, you're mistaken. I've never missed a putt inside 3 foot, and I've never 3-putted the final hole of a tournament. Jack goes to continue on. The hand goes back up again. He's like, oh, Mr. Nicklaus, you definitely have. You done one of those things last week. I've actually got it on tape. I can send it to you if you want. Jack turns and says, like, sir, I was there. There's no need to send me anything. I've never missed a 3-foot putt or a 3-putted on the final hole of the tournament. So with that, kind of end the discussion there. Jack continues on with the talk. But afterwards, the guy who was posing these questions in the crowd is chatting to Bob Rotella afterwards. He says, Bob, what's wrong with Jack? Why wouldn't he just admit to missing those putts? Like, what's wrong with him? Bob turns to him and says, so, I take it you're a golfer, you're here today listening to Jack? He says, yeah, of course. What handicap do you play off? And the guy says, well, I'm a 16 handicapper. And Bob says, well, okay. So Jack has come here today as one of the best players of all time. He's come here today to share how he thinks. He's not come here today to learn how you think. Now, I'm not saying you need to think exactly like Jack Nicklaus here. More, the moral of the story, what I'm trying to get at here, is the importance your mindset plays out on the golf course. Jack is clearly not seeing any benefit of reliving those past missed putts or those failures. He's identifying himself as someone who doesn't miss when he's given those chances. So let's say he's playing a tournament the following week after giving that talk to the college kids, and he's got a 3-foot putt to win, or he needs the 2-putt from long distance, and he's saying, well, I've never missed from this position before. Why is that due to start today? Contrast that to the guy playing behind him who's trying to beat him, who's already thinking about the 3-putt he's had in the previous hole. The knees are starting to shake, the palms are getting a little bit sweaty. How do you think that affects both of their confidence levels as they set up at that crucial moment? Now, Jack very specifically worded it in that speech that he's never missed on the last hole of a tournament. Last hole of a tournament here, remember, there's a huge amount of pressure at stake here. Maybe it's to win a major championship. I want you to think back pre-COVID times when facilities at your golf club like the restaurant, the bar were open. How often does someone go in there discussing around with their playing partners, ever say anything remotely positive about their game? Most often it's, couldn't hold a putt out there, man. Or couldn't get out of the bunker on the 12th hole. They're always dwelling on the negatives and their failures out on the golf course. Now, I get that they don't want to be seen to be bragging or too cocky. There's been a modesty in there, of course. But think about the effect all this negative talk is having on your game. You're instilling yourself and you're identifying as someone who can't hit a bunker shot, who can't hit a fairway, who can't hold a putt, whatever it is. Jack Nicklaus, as you can imagine from the talk there in that story, he would never have talked about his own game like that. So, in keeping with the theme of this series, I'm going to offer you some practical advice. It's going to help you think that little bit sharper out there, get you that little bit more mentally prepared for when courses reopen at the end of this lockdown. So, I want you to think back at your local golf course. I want you to really reflect back and strongly visualise one good shot you've hit on each of the 18 holes. Think of how powerful this is going to be when you step foot in courses when they reopen. Your mind is flooding with good memories. You're not dwelling on any past failures. You can take it a step further here if you like the sound of that, and if you're really committed to improving your mental game, and once you've thought of these 18 good shots you've hit, you could even write them down to further cement them in your memory. Remember, courses are going to reopen pretty soon. The season is going to come at us fast, and you're either going to be one or two players. Either you've devoted the time necessary to make sure you're prepared, make sure you're going to be able to go out there and enjoy your golf and play the best golf you possibly can, or maybe you've taken the approach of, oh, well, it'll be grand. You've completely neglected your game, and you're going to go out there thinking you can just knock off the rust as soon as things come back. And you're going to be left so frustrated because you haven't practiced in ages. Choose wisely which player you want to be. If you've enjoyed the series so far, make sure to whack it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share it on to a friend if you think they're going to find some value in it as well. Until then, keep up the practice at home, and I'll see you in the next one.